I guess that really explains a lot, because if you really think about it, after you've been looking at sheet music for so long, it would really explain why all of the comments in Apple source code looks like it's in Latin. I guess that, yeah.
Roger, the song is a lot like Hyper Studio. It works a lot better without all the words, but it's not as fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. So, saying, you know what the difference is between a frog driving a car down the road and Matt Deathridge driving a car down the road somewhere? No, the frog might actually be going to play music somewhere. I guess you do keep a little mini keyboard. I understand you do keep a little mini Casio or Yamaha keyboard in your cubicle there with Dave. I understand. No? Huh? Okay. Well, forget that joke then. Let's finish that one out then. No, actually, it is true. See, well, let's throw that one out too, actually. There's a line here that says, Matt, I've always been amazed at your subtlety. But that obviously was, that must have been for someone else here. No, actually, I have to say, it is really neat. It is great to be here with the people on the panel. And I haven't come as well prepared. I didn't have a chance to go to the shopping store and buy a raid at the Hypermart, though, wasn't it? That's the Hypermart, which I think is wonderful. And we actually have these. Any of the registered Hyper Studio users, Jay did pick up a case of these. As an intermediate update, you can get these at the door on the way out. But anyway, I do think some words should be said, at least about some of the things that some people here have done that really are great. Unfortunately, that won't take very long. But Matt has been amazingly instrumental and influential in the course of the Apple II world, and influential in just these really subtle ways. In fact, I remember the Apple II DTS department, in fact, one of the neat things that happened was they actually did really pull together when the first version of Hyper Studio was about to be released. Well, the first one where he pulled down the menu and it said, no, this item isn't here yet, but if you mail in your registration card, we'll send it later. But to get some of that stuff working, there was some problems with the text tools, and it was really neat because, honest truth now, the DTS and Apple engineering 5.04, as I think it wasn't supposed to be out until this at some point after AppleFest. And Jean-Louis Gasset had decided to actually use the new version of this upcoming version of Hyper Studio in his presentation at AppleFest. And DTS really did do a lot to see that one could be hand-delivered to us at AppleFest so that we could put all the pieces together and try and stand at least a marginal chance of getting through a 3-minute demo without it crashing. And then when we got there, Jonathan Fader came up to me, and I asked about the 5.04 system disk, and he said something to the effect, oh, it must have slipped my mind. I guess you're just out of luck or something. And
now I remember what time it's 5:02 and it's text edit.
yes.
5:02.
Okay. And I ran into Matt, and I mentioned this to him after DTS had gone all the work, and Matt just looked at me, looked down at me, and said, I'll take care of it. And somehow I knew, and it proved that within a very short time, Jonathan Fader came scurrying up and said, oh, here's your disk that we brought in, and we went to a lot of trouble to see that you got this. And in my mind, I could see Matt looming over Jonathan Fader, saying, you will produce that disk. Anyway, and that really was neat. And a lot of really neat things have come our way through Apple DTS. The other folks at Apple who will review shortly. And really worthy of abuse is probably Steve here for masterminding this whole thing. Yes, Mr. Disbrow. But it is neat. Steve has done so many things that we've all wanted to do. Accomplished things. Started his own business. He came here last year and actually found a co-ed in his room. convinced her to marry him. I mean, wow. That was great. And I admire anybody who can start their own business, and it's great. You get to work half days. You can pick any 12 hours you want. and GS Plus has just come up so far in the world. Just with the huge burgeoning list of Apple II magazines, you're right up there in the top 10. I was getting there. Hey, don't be peeking at my notes. It's not often that you can get paid, actually earn money, each month, offending as many people as possible in any given issue. And Tim, gosh, soulmates. Tim is definitely, actually this joke, I actually had to modify this job. This next joke coming up. I was about to say that Tim has accomplished something that I've really wanted to do with all my heart. He has actually succeeded in getting Apple Computer to publish a hypermedia project he's worked on. But then I kind of rethought about Apple's distribution methods and thought that maybe we're both in the same boat. So.
This is version 1.1 of the joke.
Yeah, anybody that's unhappy, updates will be available tomorrow night for a small nominal handling charge and fee. No, actually, again, in all seriousness, I don't know how many people know that Tim has been working on the inside a lot of in the behemoth organization that makes up Apple Computer. Concern for the Apple II and empowerment of the common man isn't necessarily on everybody's lips. Tim has done a lot with seeing that the CD-ROM disks that everybody at Apple thinks is only exclusively a Mac domain, that a lot of the CD-ROMs that have been created for developers have Apple II code on them. His work on APW was, futile, but... I don't know. Merlin. I guess if APW is an exercise in futility, then Merlin is futility exercising. But anyway, Tim has provided a lot of support on Genie and the endless Apple II souls looking for direction and salvation in life. We're all the better for having him with us. Look at that. No punchline killer on the end. Let's see, who else has been on the list tonight? As I understand, I just have to keep everybody busy enough that we can get to their dorm rooms and pretty much mess everything up and then send the administration up there so that they're charged for everything. Okay, let's see. Jay. We've got some kind words here for Jay, don't we? Jay's done things that I'd like to do. Back when we were still, when I think Apple II Plus was the current version of the Apple II, I started an endeavor called The Courier, which was going to be this magazine on disc. The idea basically sort of failed. I've actually been very good at that, but that's another story. But anyway, the project that really did work out of the Courier kind of project was Soft Talk magazine, which is the embryonic prehistoric protozoa of the Apple II literary world now. Shows you where evolution can go. But Soft Talk created this thing called Soft Disk, and Jay is now going on to that, and I'm kind of envious of that. That's neat.